So we're going to talk about this tube. It's a turbidity tube, and it has measurements in centimeters. Now, what this turbidity tube is going to allow us to do is try to figure out at what depth that we can see something called a Secchi disk. So a Secchi disk is divided between black and white, and we have a Secchi disk at the bottom of this tube. Now, if we were doing turbidity off up here, then our Secchi disk would be much bigger. It would be attached to a rope. That rope would have measurements on it. And as you put it down, as soon as you could not see the distinction between the white and the black, then that would be your marking, and you could do it. This tube works a little bit differently. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna pour water that we just collected in this bucket into the tube. You can see it's a little bit messy, so wearing the waders is much, much better. All right, so we're gonna wait for the bubbles to sort of cease. And once those bubbles kind of clear up, then we'll be able to do our sampling. All right, now the way that we're going to do the sample is that there's a valve at the bottom, right? So that valve is going to get opened, and one person is going to look through the tube, and as soon as the distinction between the black and white is met, then we're going to close that valve and take the reading. Okay. So even though we're all the way down here somewhere, I still can't see any distinctions. See the water receding in the tube. We're not quite there yet. Stop. Okay, so there are some environmental factors that can feed into turbidity. One of them is going to be the tide. So we are at low tide, and the tide may be returning, which means that there's this ebb and flow of the water. And another factor in turbidity is going to be precipitation. So even though it wasn't precipitating very much yesterday, we did have some precipitation. So we're going to take a look down our tube. I'm not sure if you're going to get to see that distinction through the camera. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and take our measurements. So this again is in centimeters. We've got 10, 20, 30. Of course, this indicates 35, right? Here's 40. There's 45. So you can go ahead and pause the video, see if you can come up with a reading on your own, and then I'll go ahead and tell you the reading that we got. Okay, so this is 40, 41, 42. Okay, so that's 42 centimeters on our turbidity tube, and that's given us an idea of what's all floating in there, right? A good amount of it is going to be organic pieces of plant material, but then some of it's going to be sediment that's been kicked up with, like I said, that precipitation and the tides.